Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning as we will be going through Sagicor single premium whole life and the benefits that come along with that. My name is Paul Williams. I'm a life sales director over here with IAMS. And before we start the presentation with Corey Martin that'll be presenting with me, there's a few things I'd like to go through and just highlight some of the key things we offer over here at IAMS and why agents love to do business with us. If you ever have any questions about this, reach out to me anytime. It's 1-800-255-5055. The first thing I would like to highlight is our new producer bonus that helps you grow your business. I mean, we are truly a partnership here with IAMS. The more you grow, we want to incentivize you to continue to do that. And as you see the levels here, with your first level at $100,000 worth of FIA business, submitted over here, or annuity and life production as a whole, you see what you can qualify for. And as you move up here, to the 250, 500, 750, $1 million level, the prizes that you can get. And this is also within the first 180 days for newly contracted agents here with us. If you have any additional questions or would like to know where you currently sit with your new producer bonus, please reach out to me, 1-800-255-5055. And another thing that we do here with IAMS for our agents is our referral producer program. So, just like y'all, referrals are the best ones that you can work with, best people and best clients. But anyway, because of that, and we do recognize it, we do give you a $50 one-time check there. But the big part about this, as you can see on the screen, is we give you a small piece of override it doesn't cost the writing agent anything. They still get their full commissions, but as you can see here, you get 0.15% on life target, index 0.2, single premium 0.75. But anyway, it's just a great way to earn a little extra income. And I have personally witnessed Steve, Curtis, and Chris, write checks for thousands of dollars, and this is paid out, quarterly. And also another way that we want to partner with you is our marketing reimbursement, where we'll pay $100 towards your marketing for every $100,000 in premium on the index annuity, $200 per $100,000 on single premium life, as well as $200 per $10,000 on life target premium. If you have any questions about where you're at or would like an update on your account of where your marketing dollars are, give me a call, 1-800-255-5055. And for our back office support here, our team really does an amazing job on this. We were founded on customer service by Mr. Charles Hearing, 37 years ago now. But our case managers, like I said, really do a great job of following up with the cases. We'll take applications for you. We'll scrub through them. We'll submit them to the carriers for you. And, anything, especially on the life side, if somebody has a paramed exam and you need us to schedule that for you or follow up with your clients to see, kind of where they're at, maybe if they're running into some struggles and need to reschedule, whatever it may be, that is definitely something that we help out with. And another thing I'd like to point out here is our website. It is an amazing resource to use. Our sales resource library is very robust. It's got thousands of pieces out there, and we're constantly adding to it daily. And also, all of our webinars are recorded. So if there's a topic that you would like to go back and revisit that we had covered, a week or two ago, please go out there and check out that information. In our EAP solutions, we do have Firelight, iPipeline, and Sunfire here, and this is where you can go through, submit your applications. It's a really simplified process. They do a great job of highlighting everything that needs to be filled out, so you're not having to take a paper application and do some guesswork, and relying on the carrier to come back to you and say, hey, this piece was missed. Can we go back and get this filled out, or an explanation or anything on that? And on our Firelight, as you can see on the annuity side, the carriers that utilize this that you can work with, and also a little bit on the life side. I will point out the iPipeline is definitely more geared towards the life business than what Firelight would be. In our creative marketing solutions, our team is really knowledgeable about what's going on within the industry, and they work with financial advisors daily, so they kind of know the content that needs to go out there, and they can help build out logos, set up websites, if there's mailer campaigns and stuff like that you would like to participate in, that's something that we can help out with, as well as running seminars. And our IAMS Wealth Management Division, it's fairly new here to IAMS, but it has been a huge sector of growth here with us over the last 5 or 6 years now. But as you can see, adding this to your portfolio just really makes that business a lot more sticky and just opens up other opportunities for your clients here with us at IAMS. In our Life and Annuity Academies, we actually just finished up one, and we're getting ready to kick off another one coming up here at the end of July. If this is something that you would like more information on, or you have questions on, or you would like to attend, please give us a call, 1-800-255-5055. And as always, like and follow us on Facebook. We're constantly putting out new content daily that you can share with your clients to attract, peak interest there. But that's all I have for y'all right now, and I'm going to change this over to Corey, and he's going to go ahead and present.
Great, Paul. Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you again, Paul. I appreciate the introduction, and thank you all for attending this morning. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about what we feel like is one of the most overlooked opportunities in the pre-retiree and retiree space, which is chronic benefits and wealth transfer. And considering single premium life specifically with Sagicor, we're going to talk through some risks and some opportunities that should give you a better feel for what we are talking about, how you can approach your clients, how you can, again, grow your database for really a conversation that we feel is not had enough. So with that in mind, again, Corey Martin, I am the regional sales manager for Sagicor Life, and I'm located in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're going to talk through some conversations this morning. We're going to talk about risks and opportunities, and hopefully clarify some of what this niche market is and how you can go back to your clients and have productive and profitable conversations. So let's get rolling. A couple of things to consider. LIMRA, the Life Insurance Marketing Research Association, found that 63% of life buyers in 2021 identified wealth transfer as the #1 reason they bought. So what that tells me is that the nomenclature of wealth transfer is becoming something that people are picking up in the marketplace. They're starting to ask questions. They're even Googling the word wealth transfer. What does that mean? I really don't know what that means. So knowing that and having some knowledge around what wealth transfer is specifically, and then the fact that there was a federal government study that was done a few years back that predicted nearly 70% of people that are turning age 65 right now are going to have a need for chronic illness benefits. So where is that money going to come from, and what are the risks and costs associated with that if I don't take action So we're gonna share a lot of good detail with you, but I feel like these two numbers, 63 and 70, kind of define what the opportunity is here, and really for our industry moving forward. So if you look at it from just a sheer number standpoint, think about how many clients you've got, and nearly 63% of those people are wondering what wealth transfer is. And nearly 7 out of 10 of those people are going to have a need for chronic illness benefits. And where do we find the money, or where do we produce the dollars necessary to fund some of these solutions? So we're going to talk through that as well. So the growing opportunity is becoming very apparent. I think we see these numbers everywhere. 10,000 boomers turning age 65 every day. They've even coined a phrase of peak 65, which is the number of individuals turning age 65 has never been larger. So, but what we've also found is that millions are really just unprepared. Most people are literally underestimating healthcare expenses. There's been numerous polls with pre-retirees and retirees about healthcare expenses in retirement. They typically are guessing or estimating somewhere between 20 and 25%, where the number's really closer to more like 40 to 45%. So again, most people are finding that they're unprepared when it comes to those conversations. So ignoring the cost of care is, again, most people, and again, this is incredibly insightful, but most people who are pre-retirees are finding out that Medicare doesn't cover long-term care or chronic illness needs. They're finding that out now, and we certainly want to be asking those questions and probing a little deeper with our clients to make sure that we're doing what's right. And then just not setting their affairs in order. And this can be, we'll talk about some generational conversations that can be had just by asking some simple questions of your pre-retiree and retiree clients. Not setting their affairs in order, that's definitely a challenge and a problem. If we're not having these conversations now, it's certainly, there are some, and we'll talk about it in just a minute, that there are some preconceived notions about who's going to take care of me when it comes to that time. So nearly 1 in 2 are worried about outliving their retirement savings. I think that's becoming more and more apparent as we move forward. But financial concerns, it's important to understand that, you know what, healthcare related costs are nearly 77 out of 100 people are concerned about healthcare related costs potentially imploding their retirement and their retirement savings. Market fluctuations, we've seen a tremendous amount of money come out of the marketplace as people get close to retirement age. The market is bearing out the fact that there are trillions of dollars being taken out of the market and put in what we call safe money alternatives. So that's where a lot of these dollars can in fact come from. Unexpected costs, certainly a concern. Lifestyle changes, am I prepared to downsize? Am I prepared to live in a different way than I've become accustomed to? My lifestyle may be important to me. Am I ready for that change? Being a financial burden, that's always been a concern of the boomer generation. 22% are definitely concerned about being a financial burden. 21% desire to leave an inheritance. They want to make sure that there's money left over for the kids after they're gone, and how do we accomplish that? The one thing that we cannot overlook and cannot stress enough is the fact that chronic diseases in America are a challenge. There are medications that are being developed and have been developed are helping us live longer, but the fact of the matter is often we are living with some type of chronic illness. Whatever that happens to be, nearly 60% of Americans currently are living with at least one heart disease, cancer, chronic lung disease, stroke, diabetes, and the list goes on and on. But the other side of the coin is that nearly 4 in 10 or 40% of people have 2 or more. And typically, once you've acquired a chronic disease, those chronic diseases stick with you. So again, these are challenges, financial challenges specifically, that we cannot overemphasize enough from a standpoint of protecting my retirement nest egg as we age. So the risk, what is the risk if I choose to do nothing? We've talked a little bit about 70% are in need or will be in need of age-related care services. And again, where is that money going to come from? And how much is that going to cost me? And only 37% of people who are pre-retirees and retirees have even researched care options or even know anything about what care options are available to me. And another important issue that we'll have to deal with is that in years of care, 3.7 years for women and 2.2 years for men. And we're going to talk about the staggering costs around these expenses and what long-term care would look like financially as far as the burden goes. It's extreme. It's depending on what part of the country you live in, it can be overwhelming. So important to understand that once those chronic benefits and once those chronic illnesses, long-term care needs are established, 3.7 and 2.2. The biggest and most productive question that you can ask your clients, just point blank, is who would assist you with your care needs when the time comes? That one question can open a door and open numerous doors to having multiple conversations, and again, generational in nature. Now, 1 in 3 retirees are regularly spending time caring for a loved one. So they're an important component of the family unit as a whole. So what happens if mom needs long-term care or chronic benefits? It's going to take her away from providing care for the family. I thought this was an incredibly interesting statistic. More than half, 55% of parents expect their children will care for them. I wonder how many of those children understand that mom and dad have chosen them as their caregiver. Now, these are individuals that we're assuming that are in their peak earning years, and that will affect them again generationally. And because women are more likely to need care and become caregivers, that's something we need to be cognizant of as well, because the fact is that women live longer than men. We talked a little bit about where the money might come from. The numbers as far as reserves in cash, short-term money market funds, short-term bond funds, the money that has been taken out of the market over the last few years is pretty staggering. $19 trillion is sitting on the sidelines in banks, savings institutions, credit unions, whatever the case might be. There is a lot of money sitting on the sidelines because, again, cash and cash reserves become important to those people once they hit those peak 65 years. They want to have their money close to them. So some more of the risk of care. What will it cost me? And these are just, again, these are averages established in March of this year. Assisted living facilities, $64,000 a year. Think of mom being in an assisted living facility for up and over potentially 3.5 to 4 years. Just some simple math will tell you that's over $250,000. Now, if it's a semi-private nursing home facility, you're talking almost $400,000. These are staggering figures, and again, it is becoming more and more apparent that this is a piece of the financial equation that we've got to figure out as an industry, as producers, as advisors. This is something that will, again, be a very profitable conversation for us, but a very important conversation, because I promise you, this is not a conversation that is being had with pre-retirees and retirees often enough. So if you take the time to incorporate this into your practice, you can make a huge impact on the people that you deal with and work with. So now that we've talked a little bit about how much it's going to cost, or potentially how much it's going to cost, who pays? Well, as we discussed, Medicare does not really cover the custodial piece or the ADL, the activities of daily living piece. It does cover medically necessary skilled care, which is a very slim definition by what Medicare will cover, but does not cover any custodial care or coverage for ADLs, which is what the chronic benefits and long-term care options that we're discussing are provided by the insurance industry. Now, what about Medicaid spend down? Well, we can certainly take advantage of that if that's something that we're looking to do, but you have 5-year look backs, strict income and asset limitations. There's a very slim margin for error when it comes to Medicaid spend down. So what's another option? Traditional long-term care insurance. I'm not sure if you've been dialed into what is happening in the long-term care insurance marketplace, but there is a wide variety of lawsuits flying around where individuals who bought long-term care policies many, many years ago have had, out of necessity, have had their benefits reduced to nearly nothing. And again, this is happening currently and is causing some real heartburn among the long-term care purchasing public. Premium increases, benefit reductions, elimination periods. Again, a very strict, a very complex world to navigate, and the number of long-term care providers has shrunken tremendously over the last decade or more. So what are the family risks? We want to, again, identify what the risks are, and we're going to talk about what the opportunities become at that point. Now, if I become a caregiver, I have career risk. So if myself as a working husband, my wife as a working spouse, if one of us was to have to take time to take care of mom and dad, yeah, it would take us out of the workforce. It would certainly be an income risk for us, because the average caregiver loses over $300,000 in wages, retirement, and Social Security benefits by having to take care of mom and dad. So again, that may not be the best option for a family. And again, it's important to open up the conversation and open up the dialogue among generations, so that mom and dad, the kids, the grandkids are all on the same page, and so we all understand what needs to be done and how we're going to take care of these risks. Caregivers can spend a lot of money out of their own pocket, take hardship loans, withdrawals from accounts in order to, again, make sure that those expenses are taken care of. And my goodness, we've talked a little bit about the sandwich generation through the years, which is basically a working spouse or a working individual who's taking care of mom and dad, but also has kids that they're trying to get in through high school, potentially through college, and they're unable to fund for their own retirement and their child's education. So there's generational risk involved there, which is an important part of this conversation. Then just, again, the health toll. What kind of toll does this take on a caregiver from the stress and the challenges that are related to it? And then the legacy risk, which again, we talked about inheritance, and we talked about the many retirees, pre-retirees want to make sure they leave a legacy for their kids, and that's at risk as well. So again, a number of risks involved that involve the entire family, not just the retiree or the pre-retiree. Well, now we've defined what the risks are of not taking action. Let's talk about the opportunity should we choose to take action. Now, we call this WealthCare, and WealthCare comes with a number of principal protections and guarantees that define what this opportunity is moving forward. Return of premiums available from day one. So what this provides is access So you have access to return a premium from day one. Leverage, it is life insurance, so $1 buys 2, potentially buys 3. Tax efficient wealth transfer to beneficiaries, which at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to accomplish. And oh, by the way, the accelerated benefits are there for you as well, should that become a conversation and a financial need that again comes about at some point in time. We don't know when this is going to happen, but we're just preparing for the future. It's important to understand as well that not all care options are the same. We all talk about insurance companies. There's hybrid options. There's guaranteed benefit for life options. There's a wide variety of options. But what's important to understand with our WealthCare, it's an accelerated death benefit rider, and it pays benefits based on the acceleration of the death benefit. So the chronic / long-term care benefits become whatever the death benefit of the policy is, and with certain parameters in mind, and we'll talk about those here in a second. But we consider ours an indemnity plan. So these benefits are paid out whether or not it's whatever is best for the family. We pay these benefits out either in a lump sum or a monthly benefit for 48 months. We don't require proof of what that money is being used for. You provide proof of claim, the client will receive a cash payment. Under a reimbursement plan, which a lot of long-term care riders and traditional long-term care policies are, the client or caregiver has to submit ongoing claims. So whatever those dollars are that are coming out of their pocket have to be paid and then reimbursed from the insurance company. I had with my wife's grandmother, we had experience with this. Traveling to help provide care, rental cars and hotels to help provide care. We had to pay those expenses out of our pocket and then be reimbursed from the long-term care company at the time that had been providing benefits. So it's important to understand that distinct differentiation. The benefits covered, there's literally no restrictions with WealthCare. And benefits covered on a long-term care or traditional long-term care policy can be reimbursement for long-term care qualified costs recommended by a licensed healthcare giver. The money that comes from WealthCare can be used for whatever they choose. For you, as an agent or advisor, there's no healthcare or no health insurance licensing, no LTC licensing or continuing education that is specific to this type of care. Now, keep in mind on some of the long-term care riders, there are continuing education requirements. So just some important differentiation between what is out there in the marketplace and something that's an accelerated product like WealthCare. Underwriting, e-application. We have done everything in our power to make this a simple, easy to explain, easy to understand process of how this works. We call it accelerating. And there are parameters around an e-application, which is the only way that we have this available. There's no paper available. You can get the contract delivery via paper or e-application, your choice, or e-delivery, your choice. What we've done is we've created accelerating, which is basically a version of AI for underwriting that includes script check, MIB, MVR, and ID verify, because we don't require you to be face-to-face to conduct this business. So if you're licensed over state lines and want to do business with clients who are in a different area, you certainly will have the opportunity to do that with WealthCare. So all of that is part of the contract. Once you hit enter on an application, all of those script check, MIB, MVR, ID verify, all take place instantaneously. Now, about 30% of the time, you'll get a policy within 3 minutes. For those other 70% of the time, those are what we call RTU, which is refer to an underwriter. And then an underwriter will reach out to you directly, reach out to Paul, and we'll try to overcome. It could be something as simple on ID Verify as the address on the driver's license does not match the address on the application. It can be something that simple. So we work hard to verify all of this information under the specific limits and risk limits of what we call net amount at risk. So if you have a 50-year-old client and they have $100,000 that they'd like to deposit in a WealthCare policy, let's say that benefit becomes $300,000, for example. $100,000 will buy a $300,000 death benefit. The net amount at risk in that particular instance is $200,000. So that would fall under the preferred rate class, which we do actually recommend that every case be run at preferred because it is a blended class. It's preferred through table 4. So we made the underwriting process simple. We've made the underwriting net amount at risk easy to understand and explain, and no telephone interviews or senior supplements are attached to any of this. And there is full underwriting available above these net amount at risk limits. And you'd be surprised how many cases we work on that are $1.2 million, $1.5 million of single premium deposit that's buying $2 million, $2.5 million of death benefit. So we are prepared and ready to take those cases as well. The best way to sit down and really talk through how WealthCare provides value for your client is let's look at an actual case study. This is an actual case study that we did. This is a case that was placed with Sagicor. This is Bob and Maria. Maria's 65, Bob's 55. They're both preferred non-tobacco risk. They had liquid net assets of $2 million. What was interesting here is that both Maria and Bob had been caregivers for Bob's elderly father. So having known that, they were very familiar, the agent, and had inquired about what their plan for care was, and that opened up Pandora's box from the standpoint of they wanted to talk about it. They were interested in finding a solution, not only for income replacement, because they are both still working as business owners. They wanted complementary sources of care funds, and it was important that they had access to those funds. They had asset control. They could transfer those dollars basically from their left pocket to their right pocket and not lose control and access. So knowing this, what we did is we suggested, with the help of the advisor, $100,000 on Bob, and what that provided was almost $300,000 of guaranteed death benefit from day one. So the value of Bob's legacy, should he pass in the first year, would be someone, likely Maria, would receive nearly $300,000 of guaranteed death benefit. Now that would grow over time on the current side. After year 20, you're looking at $377,000 with still a guaranteed death benefit should Bob pass, even in that 20-year time frame. Guaranteed benefits, current benefits that can be tied to an indice option of your choosing. The return of premium, again, is always there from day one. Bob was, needless to say, Bob and Maria were pretty impressed with the fact that they could leverage their dollars by 3. Now, as far as chronic benefits available to Bob, 2 of 6 ADLs, if he meets that definition, and it's a 1-page claim form that you'd fill out with Sagicor, provides $266,000 benefit by the end of year 1. That's available to be paid out as a one lump sum, or you can literally divide that by 48 months and pay that out over time, and the client can go on and off claim if they choose to do that. Now for Maria, what we were able to create for 65-year-old Maria is more than 2 times leverage. 100,000 buys 231 guaranteed from day one. Also 305 on a current scale in year 20. So over that period of time, we were able to provide some significant leverage by growing that death benefit over a period of time. And again, all with the return of premium from day one. $206,546 available is either a lump sum or again divided by 48 months and paid out over 48 months is available to Maria if she meets that definition of 2 of 6 activities of daily living, which is congruent with a traditional long-term care qualification. So making it easy for Maria, not only from a wealth transfer standpoint and an income replacement standpoint, nearly 2.5 times leverage, but over double the leverage of 100,000 buying 200,000 of chronic benefits available again at the end of year one. So providing the leverage and opportunity that they're looking for. And the way we were able to do that is we've partnered, because this is built on an IUL chassis with the guarantees that look like a traditional whole life contract. Those guarantees are extremely important, but the interest crediting options or the upside opportunity allows you to choose an index that fits your client's need, fits your client's risk tolerance. S&P high cap strategy at an 11% par helps that death benefit grow over time. So we're increasing our legacy. We're also increasing the availability of chronic benefits over time. Now, high cap and high par strategy do have a 1% asset fee that's attached to that, but it does not affect the return of premium. So what we find is nearly 75 cents on the dollar that comes in the door is in either a high cap or a high par strategy. The client wants to take advantage of the upside opportunity without giving up the return of premium option. So again, guarantees being extremely important, and that's why we highlight those here from a guaranteed return of premium, a lifetime guaranteed death benefit with upside potential. There's a lot of bandwidth built in here as well from who I can write this on. You've got an 18-year-old, you've got an 85-year-old. We can leverage for anyone in that group. An interest credit bonus of 50 basis points, so the floor being 0 through year 11, the floor then becomes 50 basis points. Your client will have a 50 basis point credit, irregardless of the indice option that they have chosen. And that accelerated benefit for chronic and terminal conditions is available, again, at any time. Lapse guarantees built into the contract as well. $500,000 of cash in that policy is available for the chronic benefit. So that's a maximum of $500,000. In the marketplace, what I've seen for similar products is most of them are between $200,000 and $300,000 as a maximum. So again, a very liberal underwriting on this, but also a lot of dollars available to your client potentially as we grow those benefits over time. And then the chronic trigger being the 2 of 6 ADLs, the bathing, eating, dressing, toileting, continence, and transfer. So it's available again as an indemnity benefit for your clients, which again can be an extremely important benefit. Easy claim process, literally 1 page. Fill out this form, have a doctor sign off on it. No continued proof of care will be required. Benefits are federal income tax free. Client can spend the money however they'd like because it is an indemnity benefit at the end of the day. And they'll never have to submit medical receipts for reimbursement. Maximum benefits in a well-funded life insurance contract. So let's talk next steps. What do we do next? Well, we certainly want to make sure that we're identifying prospective clients. Now, if you're dealing with pre-retirees and retirees, that becomes a pivot conversation. You can go back to those people. If you haven't had a conversation with your clients, whether you have 100 clients or 1,000 clients, multiply out the 63% of people that are interested or wanting to learn about wealth transfer, and the 70% of those people that are going to have a need at some point in their life once they hit 65, that they're going to need chronic benefits. So once you identify, okay, who's in my client database? Well, you can also identify funds on the sidelines, clients that have neared retirement and have started to liquidate funds out of the market into cash or cash alternatives. What other assets do they have that are exposed to market volatility, and are they looking to divest themselves potentially of those assets? What about older life insurance policies? We just wrote a very nice case up in Kansas about 3 weeks ago, where a pre-retiree had a variable life contract that she was getting ready to lose because it was through work, but had a tremendous amount of money in that contract over time. It made sense for her to transfer that 1035 exchange it into a single premium contract that provided that wealth transfer, that leverage of benefit, and the possibility of leveraging those dollars in a chronic situation as well. Not to mention the fact that because she's a pre-retiree, she wasn't interested in paying the premium anymore once she stopped working. So this was a terrific solution for her in that situation. What about Gen X and millennials with inheritance and insurance benefits? So as the great wealth transfer continues to take place, be cognizant of where those dollars may be coming from and where those dollars may be allocated. Life changes, liquidating assets, income replacement needs like Maria and Bob, and experience with caregiving. If you've got a client that has experience with caregiving, they're going to be extremely sensitive to making sure that they don't put their own children in that uncomfortable situation of being a caregiver. Starting the conversation can be literally as easy as, do you or is anyone in your family a caregiver? Do you know anyone who's needed paid care? Do you expect your kids or grandkids to help? Which we know nearly 55% of parents now believe that their kids are going to be their caregiver. Well, what about opening the conversation generationally to make sure that we head that off at the pass? Do you have a written care plan? Is there something in writing letting your children and your family know about what your plans are? And do you have to worry about control of your assets just in case you need to pay for care? All of these can be very powerful conversations on how to get started. But again, it just starts with identifying your client base and potentially pivoting to a very profitable and very value-driven conversation. So just as a recap here, five quick importance to remember: the historic peak 65 opportunity that's happening right now, WealthCare, and our milestone MIGA, the multi-year guaranteed annuity that IAMS also has and represents through Sagicor as a pivot opportunity. Service options, streamlined e-application, ease of doing business, ease of underwriting, placing business like this with a company that wants to get cases issued as badly as you do. No long-term care licensing requirements to do business with WealthCare and Sagicor. And then just taking the next step to identify those clients that would benefit from that conversation that we've kind of recapped here today. So hopefully that gives you a little leg up on what comes next. As always, Paul is available at IAMS to help. I am available here at Sagicor to help you have those conversations. If you want to know more about next steps, if you want to know more about additional training, reach out to Paul and let's have a conversation and take your practice to the next level. I certainly look forward to talking with you again and potential to do business with you as well. Thanks so much for your time, Paul. Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you, Corey. I really appreciate the time and going through the product and the features and stuff that Sagicor has to offer with their WealthCare. Once again, like Corey said, man, if y'all ever have any questions, please reach out to me. You can email me at paul@iamsinc.com or give us a call, 1-800-255-5055. Once again, guys, I really appreciate everyone joining us this morning to go through this product and the awesome features that it has. I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks again, Corey.
Thank you.